If you haven't watched the solving 6x6 KenKen video, you should please do so before watching this video. This puzzle is from the New York Times Magazine, Sunday, April 22nd, 2012. We are given a 3, a 2, and a 6. In column 1, the two 5 minuses account for 7, 2, 6, and 1, leaving 3, 4, and 5. Therefore, the 1 minus must have a 4. And the 4 minus at the bottom must have 3 next to 7 or 5 next to 1. In row 1, the 48 times must be 2, 4, and 6, as 4, 4, and 3 would duplicate a 4 in the same row. And the 140 times must be 4, 5, and 7. So the 5 minus must be 1 and 6, with a 6 in the bottom to avoid the 6 in the top row. And the 5 and the 7 appear on the top row, and the 4 on the bottom row of the 140 times to avoid the 4 that's in the 48 times. The other 5 minus in column 1 must then be the 7 and 2. In column 2, the 4 plus 10 plus 6 equals 20, leaving 8 of the 28 that a column adds up to in a 7x7 KenKen, and therefore must be 7 and 1, the only combination of the possibilities that work, that are available. And of course, a 5 goes next to the 1. And a 5 goes next to this 7. The 10 plus in column 2 has the remaining digits 2, 3, and 5, with a 2 not at the top. In rows 2 and 3, the 42 times could be 2, 3, 7, and 1, or 6, 7, 1, and 1, but the 6, 7, 1, and 1 would need the extra 1 to be in the second row, or actually row 3 of the entire array, and therefore the 6 would be in the top row, conflicting with that 6. So the result is it has to be 2, 3, 7, and 1. In columns 3 and 4, which, like all pairs of columns, must add up to 56 in a 7x7 KenKen, 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 18 plus 12 plus 11 equals 51, leaving 5 for the remaining 2 positions in those columns. The only way for the 42 times to be arranged then is to have the 2 and 3 in those 2 columns and the 1 and the 7 in the column on the right. Note the order of the 3 and the 2 to avoid the remaining 3s and 2s in that column. In row 2, if the 16 plus had the remaining 1, the other two cells would need a total of 15, which is impossible. So the 1 must be part of the 42 times, and therefore above the 7. So the 16 plus has a 5 and a 7 in row 2. Leaving the 4 for the next row. This determines that the 1 minus in column 1 has 3 above the 4. As 3 was the only remaining number. 5 was taken down here. The 10 plus in column 2 must now have its 5 at the top with 2 and 3 below. In column 3, 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 12 equals 22, leaving 6 for the bottom. And the 12 plus must be 1, 4, and 7, with 4 not at the top. The 11 plus in the middle of the bottom two rows needs a total additional of 5 in order to add to the 11. But can't be 3 plus 2 because there are 3 and 2 already there in that column. And so must be 1 plus 4, and the 1 must be above the 4 to avoid this one. In row 7, the next to last row, the 4 minus, the last row, the 4 minus can only be 7 and 3, with 3 on the left. In the bottom right cell must have a 2 with a 3 above it, as the 1 is already used in that row. In row 6, that is the next to last row, the 7 plus can't be 1 and 6 or 3 and 4. Therefore it must be 2 and 5. That makes 2 above 7 in the 5 minus of column 1. And the 4 in the 12 plus of column 3 must be at the bottom, as that's the only remaining unused digit for that row. In column 4, the 18 plus is 5, 6, and 7, with 6 at the top. As neither the 5 nor the 7 can go in that row. In column 7, 3 plus 2 plus 12 equals 17, leaving 11 for the top two cells, either 5 below 6 or 7 below 4. But the 12 plus in that column can't have any 7s, as rows 3, 4, and 5 already have 7s. 3, 4, and one of these has to be a 7. So the 7 is needed in row 2 of column 7, and the 5 goes to its left. And accordingly, the 4 goes above the 7. That puts the 2 and 6 in the left two places of the 48 times at the top. In the last column, the 12 plus is the remaining 1, 5, and 6 with 1 at the top. The 1 completes this row. In column 2, 2 and 3 are resolved now in the 10 plus. In row 6, the 7 plus has 5 before 2 to avoid conflict with that 5. In row 1, the 48 times now has the 2 before the 6 to avoid conflict with this 2. In column 5, the 4 goes below the 6. To avoid conflict with that 4. And 4 and 6 are the two digits that remain for this column. In row 4, 2 divide is 6 and 3. In row 5, 3 minus is 4 and 1. In column 7, 12 plus has 6 below 5. In column 4, 18 plus has 5 below 7. In column 3, 12 plus has 7 below 1. Now we're done.